There are several ways of planting the disease-resistant Napier, Bracharia, and panicum grasses. Let's look at planting from cuttings and splits. Planting Bracharia from splits is a good way of expanding an existing plot. So, Rachel, how can farmers expand their Bracharia further?
So what they can do, they can just split the little they have so that they can expand to their farms.
What is the first step?
When you go to the farm, you look for the mature stem so that you can uproot it. So you can uproot this one.
So is there a style of uprooting?
There's no style of uprooting. You just need to have your crop uprooted.
And that is our uprooted stem, is it?
Yeah. You can do them like this and get so many of them.
So that's how you split it?
That's how you split it, just like that.
Is that correct, Fred?
You have to make sure that they have the roots.
Yeah.
They have to have
the roots.
Yeah. So if you look at this one, when you split it this way, it has to get all the way to the root. This will be good for planting.
You can get more than that split.
From one plant you can get 30?
Yeah.
It's not a rule that you need to put in just one split. There are some which are quite small.
You give it support by planting another
you
one.
put 2 or 3.
You put 2 or 3.
The next step is to cut the leaves.
It is important to cut off the old leaves of the split. This way, all the nutrients in the soil will go towards strengthening the plant roots so it can grow strong and healthy new leaves.
Like how long do I have to stay before I uproot the Bracharia to do the splits?
Before you split, you can give it just 2 seasons. It will be mature for uprooting.
2 seasons?
2 seasons, they're enough.
When you buy your seeds, maybe from the agrovet of the seed supplier, and you get the light variety which has been certified, you are sure that when you are splitting your forages, you got the right material. So the right time to do the split planting is after the rain, when the soil is already moist.
So Rachel, where do you prefer yourself to plant your splits?
I prefer a new area.
Okay.
Yeah, especially on the slopey side, prevents soil erosion.
Excellent.
Yeah.
When you are planting Bracharia splits, space them 45 centimeters apart row to row and 30 centimeters apart plant to plant. Plant the splits 3 centimeters deep and cover the roots well with the soil.
Come with your splits and dig with a panga bit at the middle of the hole. Then you put and make sure your roots are covered, just like this.
And that's it?
That's
it. As far as that is moisture, your crop will start sprouting.
Calro, together with other researchers, have developed a Napier variety that is resistant to smut disease called Kakamega 1 and Kakamega 2. Let's see how to plant it using cuttings.
When it comes to planting, you first start by making holes, or we call them hills. And the depth actually depends on the amount of manure you have.
The spacing from one hole to the next is half a meter. When planting, make sure the stalk is slanted. Then using the topsoil, cover 2 nodes into the soil. Joseph now has smut-free Napier to feed his cows and increase his milk yield. Growing Bracharia on slopes helps keep the soil together and reduce erosion. You can use an A-frame to measure out the contours.
If the farm is sloping down, you plant across so that when water is moving, it gets something to stop it. To be able to do this, we show farmers how to locate contours on their slopes.
What exactly is that?
Contours are level lines on a slope. And those are the lines that we follow when we are planting our grasses. To be able to know where those lines follow, we use an A-frame.
A contour is a line across a sloping field, all at the same height. You can use it to plant crops evenly across a slopy field or to make terraces. To find this level land, you need to build an A-frame. To do this, you need 2 poles for the side, each 2 meters long, and a center pole 1.5 meters wide. Fix them together to form an A shape. Next, you need to tie a string at the top of the frame with a weight like a stone at the bottom. Cut a mark to show the middle of the frame. This mark will help line up the string and show the frame is level. Right now, our A-frame is made. Let's see how we can use it to find the contour.
This is the point where we want to start making our line from. So, first thing is to mark where our line is going to start from.
Mark the starting point with a stick. Then move the A-frame and find the level land. Do this by moving the end of the frame until the red center line meets the mark in the middle of the frame. Once they line up, mark the end of the frame with another stick and repeat all the way across the field. Once this is done, we are ready to plant the bracharia.
So we will need the splits, then we will need a rope to help us have straight lines. Remember, when you plant with the manure, the grass thrives better.
So what do we do
take
first?
Our rope, you put it here first. The next one, you will take it to the last stick. Now we make our holes. Our holes are going to be 30 centimeters
Apart.
value. You take a handful of
Manure. For every hole.
for every hole.
Okay.
So when planting the splits, you put a whole split in one hole.
Okay.
Okay, put in.
Yeah, and press.
This is mine.
And you press.
Press.
When you plant and then you put some water, they are going to pick very fast compared to seeds because it has already established roots. After a few days, it is going to cover the entire area, so there will be no gap
In between. Gonna look good.
Looks nice.
Gonna look good.
When planting crops such as maize on a slope, the distance between the lines of bracharia is very important. The steeper the slope, the closer the lines of bracharia need to be to stop erosion taking place. So, for a gentle slope, the main crop should have lines of grass 10 to 20 meters apart. But for a steep slope, the main crop should have the lines of grass closer together, 5 to 10 meters apart.
Make sure to water regularly and check your grasses for common pests such as spider mite. It is also important to weed regularly so your crop is not competing with weeds for nutrients and water. You can top dress with a fertilizer or manure.